You ever just feel like you're getting bombarded with insurance ads everywhere you turn? Like every website, every radio jingle, they're all asking, are you covered for this? But are you really covered? Gets kind of old, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I get that.
It's like they're trying to make you second guess every decision you've ever made.
Hmm.
Anyway, for today's deep dive, we're actually using some materials that one of you sent in about Jubilee Insurance, Kenya.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and we're not going to try to find the perfect policy for anyone or anything like that. What we're really interested in is what this company, what their whole website and everything tells us about Kenya itself.
Ah, I like that. Looking at the bigger picture.
Exactly. So we're talking about their whole website here. And it's not just a list of insurance policies either. I mean, yeah, they've got everything from like basic life insurance to these whole business plans, even something specifically for like new grads, which is interesting.
Okay, so a pretty wide range.
Huge, yeah. But then on top of all that, there's this entire section on like wellness, and they've got news articles, and they're sponsoring an art competition. It's a lot more than I was expecting, I gotta say.
That is interesting that they've got that kind of range.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, are they trying to be like the go-to for everything for people in Kenya? Not just insurance, but like a whole lifestyle thing.
Right. And especially with their tagline plastered literally everywhere, live free. Seriously, I felt like it was following me around the site.
Huh. I can imagine. They want that stuck in your head.
Whether you're like checking out retirement plans or apparently signing up for a marathon, live free is right there with you.
Yeah, that live-free messaging is really deliberate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they're targeting a very specific audience, probably that growing middle class in Kenya.
Yeah.
People who, yeah, they want stability, but they also want to enjoy it.
Yeah, totally. So it fits with that whole financial freedom thing for sure. But then you've also got all these sections about basic needs like education, retirement. They even had a whole policy aimed at new grads, like I was saying. Feels kind of mismatched, doesn't it? Live free, but also make sure you can pay your bills after graduation.
Well, I mean, think about it. The idea of freedom, it means different things to different people.
Yeah.
Right? For some people, for someone who's maybe struggling to make ends meet, having a retirement plan, or knowing that their child's education is taken care of, that IS, freedom from worry, freedom from those immediate stresses. It's like Jubilee's tapping into all those different levels of what people want, the aspirations, but also the anxieties.
Clever, right. They're playing on all of it. Okay, so they're promising freedom, but what does that actually look like when we're talking about their products? Let's get into some specifics. Anything stand out to you from how they're presenting this stuff?
Oh, absolutely. So they've got this whole line of products called Fanaka. And Fanaka in Swahili, it means prosperity or success. So right away, you're not just buying insurance. You're buying into this idea of a brighter future.
Oh, wow. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it's very smart. And then there's J-Care, which is their whole brand for health insurance. And between that and the whole wellness section on their website, it's clear they see health and well-being as a major focus for their customers.
Yeah, and we can't forget about retirement planning. They're really pushing that, both for individuals and businesses. They had everything from these personal pensions to like these massive company-wide plans. What'd you make of all that?
Well, if you look at the bigger picture in Kenya right now, it seems like they're tapping into this growing concern about financial security later in life. It could be because of rising healthcare costs. People are worried about job security. Maybe they're just living longer. But Jubilee is putting themselves out there as the answer to those worries, whether you're an individual or a big employer.
It's really interesting, though, how they're approaching this whole thing, right? Like, it's from both sides. They're saying, hey, no matter what your situation is, we're here for you.
Right.
But it's not just about the policies themselves, is it? Like, they've got this whole always with you tagline that's everywhere. Plus, they've got articles about all their work in the community, how they're all about, like, corporate social responsibility.
Yeah.
It feels very intentional.
It is. And that's a great observation, because companies today, they know it's not enough to just like sell a product anymore. They've got to create this whole image, something that people feel like they can really connect with. And Jubilee, I think, is really trying to craft this story, this narrative that they're more than just an insurance company.
Well, so it's less about selling insurance and more about selling like peace of mind, being part of something.
Exactly. It's like they're saying, we're going to be there for you, just like that tagline.
Yeah.
They're tapping into these very, very basic human needs,
Yeah.
the need for security, for belonging, for trust.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're doing through all these different things they're doing, like sponsoring art competitions, these health initiatives they're always highlighting. They even play up their history, how long they've been in Kenya. Like, hey, we've been helping you live free since 1937. Remember that?
Oh, there's that live free again. I swear it's everywhere. But seriously, this whole CSR angle being so woven into the community, is it legit? Or is this just like really, really good marketing? I mean, does that kind of thing actually resonate with people in Kenya?
I think it's probably a bit of both. Because on one hand, it's definitely strategic. Like, they know it makes them look good. It appeals to consumers, especially, I think, younger generations, who want to support businesses that seem ethical.
Right. It's like that whole voting with your wallet idea,
No.
supporting companies that actually like align with your values.
Exactly. Exactly. But then on the other hand, there's this growing expectation for businesses to be more socially responsible, period. It's becoming less of a bonus and more of like a requirement just to be taken seriously.
So Jubilee's trying to walk this line, right? They're mixing their products with this like carefully crafted image and all this community engagement to paint this picture of a company that's not just about making money.
Exactly. And it might be easy to be cynical about it, right?
Yeah.
To just call it marketing and be done with it. But the thing is, it's true. It's about more than just selling a product now. It's about selling an experience, a feeling, a promise for the future. And for Jubilee, it all ties back to that idea of living free.
It's pretty sophisticated when you think about it. It does make you wonder, though, like, how do other financial companies in Kenya or even here, how do they approach this whole balance between what they're selling and the image they're trying to project?
That's such a good question. And honestly, it's something that deserves its own deep dive. Because I think comparing Jubilee's approach to what we see in other places could tell us a lot about how the financial world is changing.
And, the way they're presenting these products, especially with Live Free front and center, it does tell us something about what people in Kenya want, what they're worried about.
Right.
It's not just about, like, do I have insurance or not? It's about feeling in control, feeling like you have options, like you've got some security about the future.
Yeah.
It's about more than just, like, protecting yourself from risk. It's about feeling like you can reach your full potential, like you can actually enjoy your life. And as we go forward, I think it's going to be so important to be aware of how all these things play off of each other. Marketing, social responsibility, what we as consumers expect. And that's not just in finance, that's everywhere.
That's such a good point. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into Jubilee Insurance Kenya, what is it that really sticks with you? Honestly, for me, it's how Jubilee's not just selling like policies, they're selling a whole lifestyle, almost like a sense of hope,
Yeah.
Like they've really tapped into this thing that I think so many people feel, this need to like live a good life, to have the resources to overcome obstacles and build a better future for themselves and their families.
And that's what makes this whole deep dive so fascinating, right? It's not just about insurance products in a vacuum. We're looking at the whole story behind it, the emotions they're trying to connect with, the hopes and fears they're representing.
Absolutely.
And it kind of makes you think, what about all the other companies we deal with every day, whether it's finance or honestly anything else? What stories are they telling us through their advertising, their branding, that whole vibe they're putting out there?
Oh, that's such a good question. And it's something I think we should all be asking ourselves a lot more often than we do.
Yeah.
Because these stories, these narratives that companies create, they really do end up shaping how we see the world.
Totally.
Being aware of those stories, questioning them even, that's what makes us smarter consumers, more engaged citizens. And honestly, it gives us more control over creating the kind of future we want to see.
Now that is something to think about. This has been such a fascinating deep dive. Until next time, everyone.